So we actually built the first version of OPCraft in little less than 2 days at a Xerox Park hackathon. All thanks to Mud. 2 days. And after that, we spent a few weeks, tweaking it and polishing it. And we also worked with Optimism to launch it onto an Optimism Bedrock testnet. And then we published it. We made it public and held a public playtest that lasted 2 weeks at DEF CON Bogota. And the thing is, when we launched this game into the public, we had no idea what was going to happen next. The thing with OPCraft is that there is no predefined stories, not even any predefined objectives. There is no quest to complete or any final bosses to defeat. So we had zero idea what was going to happen. Well, what the players had was 6 things. Oh, they could destroy a block. They can place a block into the world. They can craft new blocks by combining material that they have. And finally, they can claim and protect a 16 by 16 chunk of land where nobody can touch it or mine it or build on it if they have the highest stake of diamond on that piece of land. On top of that, they also have access to customize our open source front end clients. And crucially, they are able to register new MUD components and systems to the world contracts. All right, but that was it. Those 6 things is all players had access to. And the rest is all up to the players' creativity. And very quickly, within the first day, people started to leave a mark on the world. They started to pick flowers, chop down trees, and very quickly started to build things. And the first thing that they built, one of the first things that they built are massive holes in the ground. Here's an illustration. So yes, very disappointing. The first act that people do was to create traps for their own amusement. But in a very beautiful turn of events, we also saw players, yes, they get stuck in a hole. We also had players say, "Where are you? I can dig you out. I made you some stairs out. Thank you. Now I'm dizzy. I need to rest before coming out." But they were saved. So yes, and thankfully, there was more than just holes and traps. We also had players create an Eye of Sauron at the top of a snow-capped mountain, a massive phoenix with a wingspan of more than 100 blocks, a pyramid in the sky that was made using thousands of blocks of sand, rock, and bedrock. And there was more. There's also a giant panda, pixel art, Union Jack, UK. Brighton blockchain, who are those guys? And Mario and Flower, and of course, someone was shilling their NFT projects, which is to be expected, and much, much more in this world. And while the artists and the architects were hard at work creating their monuments and pieces of art, the scientists and engineers of OPCraft started to experiment with what is possible using code. So one of the first things that people started to do was to dig automatically. They created this plugin called the drill, very creatively named, which allowed them to mine material automatically. And someone even more creative created the power drill, which helped them mine specifically for the very valuable diamond blocks. But beyond mining technology, we also saw people create plugins such as the chat, which allowed people to speak instead of just jumping up and down when they saw another person in the game. We also had an autumn plugin, which allowed the game to look like it's in the fall, in very relaxing orange and red. But my personal favorite is probably this plugin here called the Autonomous People's Republic of OPCraft. So the team woke up one morning to this person by the name of Supreme Leader OP declaring a world government called the Autonomous People's Republic of OPCraft. So it turns out what they had done is that they had mined 100,000 pieces of diamond, claimed basically all of the land surrounding the spawn point so that no one else can build or mine in it. But that was not it. They also launched a plugin called the Comrade plugin. So players can choose to become a comrade by swearing allegiance to the Republic and by giving up all private possession. So all the blocks that they've mined for hours now have to go to the Republic, into the Republic's treasury. But when they become a comrade, they can use the treasury to build and also, crucially, build on top of Republic land. And here's the inventory with 13,000 pieces of dirt. And of course, this also comes with a social credit system where if you're seen to be a freeloader, where you're using more of the public treasury than you're providing, then you have to go to the mines and mine material. And the reception was very mixed. Some people decided to just migrate out of the spawn point, but some people also just accepted it, embraced it, and now erected a statue of the supreme leader of OP. And the most beautiful thing is that we did not design for any of this. All they had was these 6 things. The 4 actions that were in game, a way to modify the front-end client, and crucially, a way to register a new component and systems to the world contracts. So what the OP Supreme Leader OP did was, without asking us for permission or needing to ask for our permission, they had launched a Comrade component, a government system, and then a front-end plugin called the Comrade plugin that allowed people to opt in to using those new components and systems. Compare this to a classic traditional multiplayer game like a RuneScape or World of Warcraft or EVE Online. You have in-game actions, but then actions such as starting a guild, joining a guild, going into battle with another guild, are all just actions that have been designed into the game. But outside of that, and that's it. That's all you can do. If you want to create your own opt-in rules, you want to create your own social structures, maybe you can do a Discord server, you can do a forum, or you can start your own server, but then none of the things that everyone shares, the whole world cannot move with you to your world and opt into your new systems and your new logic. Compare this back to Mud and OPCraft and other Mud applications. Anyone can arbitrarily deploy a new component, a new system. So someone can have a money plugin to add an economy to the world, governments and nations, and even religions. The sky is the limit. As long as people choose to opt into your rules, just like people have become comrades of the Republic, then anything is fair game. All right, and you might say, okay, this composability is also possible technically with existing Ethereum apps. But the truth is that it's very difficult. Yes, it's possible, but it's very difficult. Every app might have its own very idiosyncratic way of having their functions or data structures. And if their contracts are not public, then you even have to deal with bytecode. With Mud, everything is standardized into components and systems, which is what allowed the Supreme Leader OP to create this whole Republic and government and comrade system and components in little less than a week. And to sum it all up, we did in 2 weeks of OPCraft, we had more than 1,500 unique players that made 3.5 million transactions. If this were on mainnet, which it was not, this would be the top 5 D app of the quarter. But more importantly, it also had emergent social behaviors like traps and holes, but also people covering those holes and helping people out of them. We also saw numerous architecture and monuments. We also saw 5+ player-created plugins in a very short span of time. And we also saw an emergent social structure that we did not plan for or design for. And that's it. If you want to visit what people did in OPCraft at the end of the 2 weeks, you can go to opcraft.mud.dev. And if you want to try your hands yourself on playing OPCraft, you can now go to craft.mud.dev, which allows you to play live. Thank you.